All right, we're starting with breaking news, and there are reports coming in that a passenger plane of EgyptAir, which was en route from Alexandria to Cairo, has been hijacked. There are 80 people who are on board that EgyptAir flight, and after hijacking, it has been taken to Cyprus. That's the latest that we are getting, that the hijackers forced the pilot to divert the flight to Cyprus. In fact, some reports online even suggesting that, in fact, this plane has already landed at the Cyprus airport. This was a flight that was going from Alexandria to Cairo, and it was hijacked mid-air, and it was subsequently forced to head to Cyprus. There are about 80 people on board, and this is flight MS-181. These are the details that we have so far. There is an official who has been quoted by the Associated Press who says that, in fact, this plane has already landed at the Larnaka airport. Also, some reports specifically on the Associated Press suggesting that there is the possibility of a bomb being on board. However, so far that has neither been confirmed nor denied by the official that the Associated Press has spoken to. But right now, the state broadcaster in Cyprus has in fact confirmed to all the foreign news agencies. Bloomberg is quoting them as saying that this EgyptAir plane has already landed at the Larnaka airport in Cyprus. It was headed towards Cairo from Alexandria, and that is when this domestic flight of EgyptAir was hijacked, and it was subsequently diverted to Cyprus. In fact, the spokeswoman of EgyptAir has also been quoted as saying that the landing has already taken place, and the hijackers forced the pilot to subsequently divert the plane towards Cyprus, and since then the landing has already taken place at the Larnaka airport is what we are getting to know. And in fact, this A320 aircraft had taken off from Alexandria at 8 a.m. local time. It had 81 passengers on 80 or 81 passengers on board. Kashif is now joining us with the updates on that story. Have more sources, has any official confirmation come of this plane actually landing in Cyprus? Kashif?
Well, Padmaja, at this moment what we understand, wire reports are quoting the airline spokesperson saying that this flight has been hijacked. The airline spokesperson's name has not been mentioned, but the airline spokesperson has been quoted as saying that an EgyptAir flight from Alexandria to Cairo. Now let me show you on the map. This is Egypt over here. This is the Cairo, the capital of Egypt. Taken here, the flight was from Alexandria to Cairo here, but the flight did not come to Cairo. MS-181 with about 55 passengers. Earlier, we were told there were about 80 to 81 passengers, but this flight has now moved towards Cyprus, landed in Cyprus, is what we understand at this moment. So Cyprus, Larnaka airport is where the aircraft has landed. Reports still coming in. We are still unsure with the number of passengers on board. We earlier had reported that there were 80 to 81 passengers on board, but now what we understand that there are 55 people on board with 7 crew members. It is an Airbus 320 aircraft belonging to EgyptAir, the national carrier of Egypt. The flight originally MS-181 taking off from Alexandria, the port city of the Mediterranean coast, going into the capital of Cairo. But what we understand that it was then hijacked and asked to move towards north towards Cyprus, which is an independent country, here at the Larnaka airport. And now what we understand, again, wire reports suggesting that the aircraft has landed at Cyprus. At this moment, that's the bit of sketchy information coming in from the Middle East, that one flight belonging to EgyptAir, MS-181, with about 55 passengers, has been hijacked and taken to Cyprus. We do not know who the hijackers are or what their demands are, but at this moment, this is a bit of information which is coming in, and it has been confirmed through wire reports by the spokesman of the airline EgyptAir. Back to you.
Also, there are some reports online which talk about, in fact, more specifically by Associated Press, Kashif, which are talking about the possibility of a bomb being on board. Any more details on that? Any confirmation?
Well, yes, there are wire reports suggesting that the hijackers said that they have a bomb on board and that is why they wanted to divert the flight. Those are reports which have not yet been confirmed by the security agencies or the airline at this moment. What we only know that the pilot was told by the hijackers that there was a bomb on board and that's why the aircraft was taken from Alexandria to Cyprus, and that is why the threat has now been identified. The aircraft has now been isolated at the Larnaka airport in Cyprus over here. Further details of what the hijackers want and what exactly are their demands, whether there's any other ammunition or arms on the aircraft will be known as the story progresses. But yes, it is a developing situation as of now, and we understand that about 55 passengers, mostly tourists who had gone to the port city of Alexandria, are the ones who are on this Airbus 320 flight.
Also, why Cyprus?
Well, that's the
Kashif.
question. At this moment, we do not have answers as to why the aircraft was taken to Cyprus. We only know that it was a domestic scheduled flight of EgyptAir, and it was told the pilots were asked to divert to Cyprus, and it has landed in Cyprus. Cyprus, we know, is an independent country, a tourist country. It does not. It has a friendly relations with Egypt, so we do not know that why Cyprus is the chosen destination. But at this moment, reports coming in that it is landed in Cyprus, and more details, as I told you Padmaja earlier, it is a developing story. More details as to why Cyprus and why and who were the ones who were behind this hijack is still yet to be clear.
Absolutely, but has any spokesperson from the airliner itself spoken up or given any figure on the actual number of people? Because like you said, the figures varying between 55 to as much as 81, Kashif.
Well, yes, I mean, the airline spokesperson has not yet given out the number of passengers, but there are varied reports coming in from Cyprus and from Alexandria when the flight took off. What we also understand is that this flight, when it was hijacked, was in the flight information region of Cyprus, and that is when the Cyprus air traffic control was informed by the pilot that there was at least one armed person on board who was dictating terms and wanting to land in Cyprus. So that is when the air traffic control gave a clearance to this aircraft MS-181 to land in Cyprus, and now what we understand, it has landed in Cyprus. We do not know. There were two conflicting reports as to how many passengers on board. As you rightly said, Padmaja, earlier the reports suggested that there were about 80 to 81 passengers on this flight, but now reports coming in, there are about 50 to 55 passengers with about 7 crew members, though no official confirmation from EgyptAir or the security establishment in Egypt or Larnaka in Cyprus.
All right, Kashif, stay with me because there are some more inputs coming in right now. All right, we'll try and get back to those details that we were getting of, really trying to track the flight path of that particular airliner. But the latest that we are getting to you is that this is an EgyptAir flight that was going from Alexandria to Cairo, and that is when it was hijacked and it was diverted to Cyprus, where at the Larnaka airport the landing has already taken place. That's what we are learning right now. I know it's still early yet, Kashif, but any news at all about any kind of violence? Hopefully no one hurt yet.
Yes, there's no violence as such. What we understand now, that there's only reports of one armed person. Padmaja, also let me just go back. I'll show you the trackers over here. This is the flight trackers, online flight trackers, which track flights across the globe. And here, what I'm going to show you is flight number MSR181. This is the flight in question we're talking about. This is the one which has been hijacked. Now you can see the flight path, this blue line going up, and as it turns towards Cyprus, it's saying yellow. So that shows the descent of the aircraft. The blue is the cruise levels, and here it goes from light blue levels, it goes to yellow. Here it comes to Larnaka, the airport in Cyprus, which is the one where it has landed. The flight number here very clearly MSR181. This flight, you can see the tracking which has been shown from Alexandria is here. It has been tracked from here at this point over here, and this flight you can see is going towards now Cyprus. Cyprus is in the middle of the Mediterranean over here. The flight, it shows now, has landed here in Larnaka. So that's the flight radar. It has been tracking, though the original schedule from Alexandria to Cairo has not been tracked. But as soon as reports were coming in that this flight was hijacked, then international trackers started tracking this flight, and this is the flight path. This is the flight path. This entire flight information region is in Cyprus control, and the pilot was constantly in touch with the air traffic control of Cyprus, or Larnaka, as we understand. And then he informed that there was at least one person who was armed on board. At this moment, we do not know of any injuries or any fatalities to any passengers. We know all the passengers are safe at this moment. And coming back to the original map which I was showing you, Padmaja, here, this is the map. This is the region where the entire hijacking has apparently taken place. Cairo, Alexandria to Cairo flight. Alexandria, it was diverted to Cyprus, and now what we understand that the flight is in Cyprus. We do not know what the demands are, what the armed people on board want. 55 people at least confirmed, conflicting reports as to how many passengers on board, but we are going to the number of people here, which is about 55, and the spokesman has only confirmed to us that the airline has hijacked. No other details at this moment available.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/ETNow, and don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at ETNowLive. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/user/ETNow.